Good morning and welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, the Quad City's first and only fantasy football show. I am your host, Doug. I am joined by Danny. No, you are not watching the W. It is just us two this morning. We may have Brian and Joe check in later, but that's where we are right now. We are part of the For Frequency Sake Podcast Network, which is presented by Durham Remodeling, Ryan Alsantu Tattoo, and Jared Zuck Country Financial. For Fantasy's Sake is presented by Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill. All righty, Danny, since it's just us this morning, take a look at what's on the agenda today. Looks like first up, we've got buy or sell. We've got a couple of what I'm going to call evergreen items in here. These are things that people like to talk about. First up, are you buying or selling IR spots in redraft leagues?
Oh, 100%. And not just because my team is riddled with injuries. If you're at a point where on your roster you're like your tight end 2 on your roster is like the 6th string tight end on the depth chart, then it's a rough season for injuries in general. But I'm big on that. I was in a league last year with it, but I think there needs to be like an implication, like after like the second week on if he goes on IR, he technically could be picked up on the waiver wire. Something like that, so where like you got to say like, all right, am I going to put my best player on IR or just leave him on a bench spot because someone might snipe him?
I am always for giving people the best opportunity to be competitive. And I think if your bench is full of guys who are hurt and there are people walking around out on the street, out in the waiver wire that can help you, I think you should have at least 1 or 2 IR spots. I'm not saying you have to have like unlimited IR spots, but if you compare this to, say, real life NFL, they can put as many guys as they want on the IR, and then they can go and sign somebody else. And I think if you're not matching that, then you're just out to just kind of, I don't want to say you're out to screw people, but it's just like, it doesn't feel fair. You're not giving people a chance to succeed because injuries are out of everybody's control in fantasy football. You can't control, somebody getting hurt, pulling a hamstring, breaking a leg, whatever. That is completely out of everybody's control. And the fact that that you can't replace them simply because they're a good enough player that you don't want to just let them go and let somebody else pick them up, I think is kind of crappy. So I'm always a proponent of at least a couple of them. Like, give me a fighting chance. Give me the chance to go out and replace some people. If I'm having a really bad year and I've got like 6 guys on the IR or whatever, see one of my Toys for Tots Leagues teams, then you're just having a bad year and you're just going to have to write it off. But if it's a couple of guys and we're going through the bye week gauntlet now, you need to have like the flexibility to make some of those moves. And if you don't have it, I don't think that flexibility is there.
No, right, which is why, like when you think about the whole point with waiver wires is to pick up players that aren't playing. So that's where it's, you see it with like other pro sports teams with the IR or baseball with the IL. If you put him here, he's going to be gone for a certain amount of time or someone else could pick him up. Like, it's like when the practice squad players, like I think that is going to add a little bit more into it, but like I see why people don't want it in their leagues. But at the same time, if you bank on, drafting someone like a running back in round 1 that like a Breece Hall or someone like that, and then he gets hurt and then you don't have an option, but then you'll still at least get some kind of priority on the waiver wire to get at least a good RB for the next round.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Next up, we have trade vetoes. I don't think trade vetoes are shitty. We're all adults. You can run your team however you want, unless you're running a league of first-time people playing, or unless you're running a league of, well, essentially they'd be first-time people playing too, but like kids. You're you're a high school teacher and you're trying to get students into fantasy football and you're commissioning the league and it's a bunch of kids. You've got, you know, kids that are trying to, one kid that knows what they're doing and another kid who doesn't, and then they're trying to swindle each other. Then yeah, no. But other than that, if you're an adult in a regular league, especially one if you're going to put money into, if you have to pay an entry fee, no, you know what you're getting into. You understand the parameters well enough. Trade vetoes, with the exception of collusion, and I've seen one case of collusion in my a million years of playing fantasy sports. So it just doesn't happen. So it's, trade vetoes to me are stupid. It's just something that people want to talk about in the off season when they don't have anything better to talk about.
No, I honestly I like having trade vetoes. For that purpose, you always see that one guy in paid leagues that when it gets to like week 9 or 10, and he knows like, hey, especially if it's a league that doesn't have like a punishment for the loser, where they're just like, hey, I'll trade you Mahomes and Derrick Henry if you pay me $50 and gets my league fee back. Like, I think that's when you have to trade veto it. But I think it has to be for an actual reason. If it's a trade veto and it's just, oh, he beat me last week and now he's about to get even better and I have to play him the next week and you veto it, then no. But I feel like that's part of the fun, especially when you're playing with your buddies just to piss them off. They work hard getting a trade through and then you veto it just as like an FU because you got the player I wanted.
Yeah, see, it's the pettiness part of it that I actually don't like. That's the part that pisses me off. That'll get me to leave a league faster than anything else. Is I've got a legitimate trade, and then some dickwad thinks it's funny to fuck with me, and he was like vetoing my trade. I'm like, I'm out.
Well, see, we always did. Over half the league has to veto it. It can't just be one person.
Right.
And because of that, we set up our league where if you veto it, you have to put the reason why in the description, and the commissioner can either reject the veto or accept it.
Yeah, see, that's fine. Yeah, that I'm okay with. But if it's just people just screwing with people, I'm just like, I don't have that kind of time in my life to deal with people being fools out there.
It's so fun though.
See, that's the difference between you and me. I'm just like, nope, I'm done. I'm out.
That's a DJ move to veto you just because you got a player he wanted or something like that.
I think we would do it to DJ more than he would do it to anybody else. To be honest.
Like in the Reaper, if he's the Reaper, just veto every trade.
Yeah. All right. Last one up is tight end premium. I understood where this came from when it first kind of came out, that they were trying to make the tight end position a little bit more kind of equivalent to the other two, to running backs and wide receivers. And nowadays, with the kind of the onset of some really, really good tight ends in the league, I don't think this is. I think the adjustment has went too far. If you want to do something, I think it's fine. But I think the days of 2-point adjustments are over. I think even 1.5 is almost pushing it nowadays. If you want to go like 1.25 points per reception for a tight end, that's okay. But I think with the amount of tight end talent that we've got running around in the league right now, especially you're only starting 12 of them, that first 12 in the NFL is pretty dang good and pretty comparable with the wide receiver ends of things nowadays. So I'd say I can see that going on.
Yeah, the big thing that a lot of people forget when they talk about tight end premiums is like when tight end premiums first really started, tight ends were essentially a 6 blocker. They weren't tight ends like we see today. It's not the guy who you're throwing to 10 to 15 times a game for 100 yards like you see more of now. Like it used to be if like more than 2 or 3 tight ends had more than 50 yards in a game, it was considered a crazy day. So I think that's when it came. I think now you almost have to treat them as just a wide receiver that occasionally blocks. Because look at the guy, like the top 10 drafted tight ends. you rarely see any of them blocking, and when there's a running play, if they know there's a running play, they're rarely in. So it's not like you're really missing out on anything with the premium at this point. It's just, I mean, this year it might not help because every tight end sucks, but other than that, I think it's just pointless to have.
Yeah, Brian, welcome aboard.
Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry I'm running a few minutes late. So it sounds like we're talking about tight ends today.
Yeah, tight end premium. We were kind of doing some evergreen takes here. So, what's your thought on having tight end premiums in the league, Brian?
A lot of my sleeper leagues have them, and I'm okay with it. Like we were saying, there's no great tight ends. I'd like to think Trey McBride with his volume share will be a little bit better moving forward, but there are no great tight ends for sure. So to me, I mean, I don't mind if there are a couple of tight ends that do well the rest of the season. I don't mind having those on my bench and getting a tight end premium for being slightly better than the rest of the crumb. So.
Yeah, I can see that too. For me, I think it's one of those things that I don't think I think it's kind of outlived its usefulness to in my opinion, but people still like it. I get why we like it. I bet you it's really popular in Kansas City and maybe San Francisco.
Yeah, and I bet right this minute it's popular in the Windy City. That'd be 18 points for 2 touchdowns, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
As I say, you stacked Bears receivers, you're doing good today. That's the third passing touchdown just now.
Who scored this one?
Keenan.
Did he?
Nice.
And the one day I bet DJ Moore.
Yeah, exactly. Was this one a short one?
Yeah, it was like
9 yards.
It was 9 yards, yeah.
Well, I'm playing against Keenan in one league. The guy doesn't have a real great team, but at least it was 9 rather than 30 or something. So
true. Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of yardage bonus on that, but it's always good to finally see the Bears finally playing well for once.
They're having a good season. I listened to the pregame on WGN because I have no TV this weekend, and Dan Hampton was hosting. One thing about him, he gives his opinions for sure. He's not going to leave anything to not be known. So I like that.
Yeah, Dan Hampton is not a man who will let you be undecided about where he stands. He will tell you. Funny actually. Okay. So that should take us to the end of our first segment. On the backside, we'll play a little bit of the ultimate roster game. You can tell I am out of practice. There we go.
For frequency's sake, has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Head on over to the hardwood with Doug Green and Watching the W each week for all the news from the WNBA. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Dan Hancock and Gotham Gambling will help you cover the spread with the Golden Ticket Show. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellas come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance, looking at all the day's action. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
All righty. And we are back. All right. I should have done that while we were at the commercial break. All right. Share my screen and we will. That one. All right. Mascots that start with an S is the first game. Must have played for a team whose team name / mascot starts with an S in the past 10 seasons. Stats will only be applied on a team that starts with the letter S.
So you think what? Steelers, Seahawks,
Saints.
Saints. So Drew Brees for quarterback then, right?
Yep, that's just what I was going to say.
And are there any more? There's just the three of them, right?
Looking now. Yeah. Seahawks, Saints, Steelers. So wide receiver. Did you
And
go?
this is in the last how many years?
10 seasons.
Yeah, last 10 seasons.
Could you go Tyler Lockett just because he's been on the team for like 6-7 years?
Yeah, that's not a bad guess.
Got to go Kamara at running back, don't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
Tight end.
I was gonna say quarterback would be between Breeze and Roethlisberger, but it's got to go Breeze.
Gotta go Breeze.
Yeah, I think so, Breeze, even as a Steelers fan.
Brian, who's been your great tight end? Yeah, that's probably the most. Well,
I'm thinking it could be Freiermuth.
Could it be
Jimmy
Graham?
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, because he played for Seattle too.
That's been the last 10 years.
He only had a couple of huge run.
Yeah, but he played for both Seattle and New Orleans. So
great point.
Yeah.
And he was on the Saints last year too and got a couple cheap touchdowns.
And our flex. I feel
what about either Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell?
My best guess was Antonio Brown at wide receiver.
Hey, we could do that instead of Lockett, honestly, might be.
I think so.
And then Le'Veon Bell for flex.
Yeah, I could see that. Although I think Antonio Brown was probably greater than Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, but fantasy-wise, I think over Lockett.
Yeah, I'd put both Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell in there.
Feel good about that?
I think so.
About as good as I will be.
I'll say about as good as you can feel about in this game.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got
Drew Brees wasn't the top pick for quarterback, so it's
Russell
Wilson. I knew Lockett.
Lockett was in there?
Yeah, Lockett over Bell.
Wow.
Because he's still on a roster.
Yeah.
Wait, well, oh my God.
In general, though, we did pretty good, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. DJ who?
Can't fault that one. All right, let's see what else we can find. Let's see if we can figure out how to change. No, that's not what I want. How do I change games? I'm an old man. I can't figure this out. Review the results. I know we can play more than one. Let's try and just refresh.
Yeah, maybe you gotta click the logo at the top. No. Yeah, I don't know. We've been doing just one a show lately.
Okay. Well, maybe it is just one a show. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. Another game to fill the time. All right. Let's see what this one says. Oh, Donald. The tight ends with 1,000 receiving yards quiz. All right. So it's a quiz. Present it so you guys can read it.
Oh, he said scroll down and we would have been able to see him.
Oh.
So first two would be what? Kittle and Kelsey
Yeah.
and Andrews.
Yep. And that's probably
New
Gronk.
Yeah. New Orleans is Graham. Tony Gonzalez.
Yep. That
Did
is.
Antonio Gates have a 1,000-yard season?
I don't think so.
Yep.
No.
He was the 2009 one.
Ah,
This is what's his name? Kellen Winslow. There we go.
Well,
St. Louis in 67. I'm not gonna get
no.
the
Carolina-
Raiders. And,
Oh, I know. What about
Golson.
Jackie Smith?
There you go.
There you
Good
go.
job. What about,
Raiders in 2020 stumping me.
Who is it?
Oh, that's Darren Waller.
What?
Pats in 94.
What team?
The Pats in 94.
Oh my. Pats in 94. Yeah, that's nothing me.
I know the Dallas 2012 one's got to be Witten.
I got an idea. What about Ben Coates?
I don't hate that. Yep.
Philly 2018.
Wasn't Goddard yet, was it?
Would it be Ertz?
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
I'm looking for all the ones I would know. 2009 Indy would be Dallas Clark.
Mm-hmm. I can't see the board.
Shannon
Y'all holler
Sharp.
Oh.
97 Denver. Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tennessee 2015.
Not Johnu. Oh God, what was that guy's
Whitehead.
name?
No.
It's not a Conquo, is it? No.
No.
Uh,
What was that guy's name? He actually had several good years. He was a black tight end. Actually was top 5, top 10 in fantasy for several years.
oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
– 2021 Atlanta. It's definitely not Kyle Pitts.
No.
I'm thinking Delaney Walker. That's who it is.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's exactly right.
It was Kyle Pitts.
It was Kyle Pitts.
Oh wow, I didn't know he had 1,000-yard season. I guess 1,000 yards and no touchdowns. That's hard to do.
Cleveland 2015. Philly in 65.
David Hill. Damon Johnson.
Who is this now?
I'm thinking like the Rams 86.
Rams.
That's what it's supposed to be, right? Where in between Gates and Waller is supposed to be the Rams. It just says Lard.
Yeah.
That's probably before we all started playing fantasy, which makes it tougher.
Yeah. See, in 83, I was 6.
I was plenty old enough. I was graduating from high school in 86.
Dang.
I know, right?
I wasn't even born yet.
I was, I turned 56 in July. So
be David Hill, I think, wouldn't it? For the Rams back in the 80s.
I put
Good.
Hill. You take
Damon
Yeah.
Johnson.
who?
Damon Johnson. No.
We did pretty good though. I feel like 46 out of 55. I feel like was really good.
It is very good.
Yeah, I give up.
We got 5 seconds left. We'll see what they tell us.
Did you try Delaney Walker?
It was,
It
but I
was.
didn't get it in time. Todd Christensen was the Raiders one. I've never heard of Pete Retzlaff. Or
What
Gary-
year?
Pete Retzlaff was the 65 Eagles.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even born then. So
Gary Barnage was the 2015 Browns.
I remember that. He had one good year. He's like some of these musicians. One year wonder.
Ozzie Newsome. How do we forget Ozzie Newsome?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. I feel pretty good, though. We got 2 guys we never heard of. And then Todd Christensen's a tough one to pull.
What year was that? 83 or something?
Yeah, 83.
I'm gonna get you a Todd Christensen jersey for Christmas.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
what I
had
need.
a Todd Christensen football card when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was a fan of his.
Did he do Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, Brian?
I think so. He was a commentator, and I always liked his. I think he called eye black that he wore underneath his eyes. That was just awesome.
Yeah. It was Barnage and Retzlaff was the 2 that we would never get or censor.
I've heard of Barnage. I remember him vaguely, but like I said, he was a one year hit wonder. So
Yeah.
I would have never remembered him.
Yeah. That's not too bad, though. I feel like we did good with that game.
We did. We'll have to try that something similar.
All right. That will take us to the end of this segment. All right. Let's answer one quick question before we go. I feel like this one's a good one that we can kind of get in here in a couple of minutes. So Marcus Martinez wants to know if Dallas and Detroit is going to be a high-scoring game.
Yes. It's got an over/under of 52, I think it is, or right above 50. Yeah, I don't know who the star players are going to be necessarily, but if it's not a high-scoring game, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I have it projected at about 54.5. So I would say there's a good chance we could see about a 3-4 touchdown game apiece.
Yeah.
In that case,
Neither
then
team.
Marcus, bet the
Neither team has a defense either, so
I'm gonna call
Great
it now.
offense, crappy
Jameson Williams is gonna have an amazing game today.
yeah, 2 great offenses, 2 crappy defenses. I'd say about a 90% chance on high scoring.
All right. That will take us to the end of this segment. On the back side, we will do a little flex, marry, kill, which is always a fun one.
Serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. And with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715.
Rough. I always like how Nick brings
Yeah, I
it.
was gonna say I love when you hit the roughing the passer.
All right, little flex Mary kill here this morning. So first up, we have Tyrone Tracy, Trey Sermon, and Antonio Gibson. I know two of those guys vaguely.
Which one do you not know?
Tyrone Tracy, never heard of him.
Rookie for the
He-
Giants.
Yeah, RB2 that started with Singletary's injury, casually went off for 127 yards.
Oh, okay.
If it's this week, I'll flex Tracy, Mary Gibson, kill Sermon, just because they're putting Ramondre on a really short leash for when he messes up, and Gibson should be able to get more touches from that. Bengals have a terrible run defense, so Tyrone Tracy should. I don't think he's going to go off for 130 again, but I think he'll at least have a good 60-yard game today. I just don't trust Trey Sermon. I think everyone's too hot on him, and he just did not play well last week.
So, a little side note: Ramondre is actually, unless things change, I'm pretty sure he's out for the game.
So even
Gibson
better.
has all the work. So I'll marry him. I'll do the exact same here. I'm going to marry him, flex Tracy, and sit Sermon. Sermon's a fourth year back who's done absolutely nothing, and I know Jonathan Taylor's been there, and that's great. But Sermon's bounced around the league, and he kind of stinks. So I'd go the exact same route.
I too will agree for the first time in FFQC history. All right. Next up, we have Tank Dell, Amari Cooper, and George Pickens.
Ouch. I would almost rather not be married at all, but as a Steelers fan, I'll go with Pickens as a flex.
Living
As
your
a
best
flex, I'll
bachelor
go with
life.
Dale. But yeah, if my choices are like this, I probably wouldn't have made it to the altar. But anyhow, I'll go marry Pickens, flex. Who are my other two options?
Cooper and Dell. Tank Dell.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll flex Dell, and I don't know. I guess until Amari Cooper does something, I'll sit him. And it's not really his fault. Deshaun Watson's just a bad quarterback.
I'm gonna flex Pickens. I'm gonna flex Cooper. I'm gonna marry Pickens, and I'm gonna kill Tank Dell. Pickens is the number one option in that offense in the passing game. He's got about 40% of their targets right now. Amari Cooper has a decent matchup against the Eagles defense that's just awful. And I want to see what they do without Nico Collins. Considering I saw a stat today that said Nico Collins is like 3% of CJ Stroud's passing yards in his career. Have all come from Nico Collins. So I want to see what he does without Nico for a couple of weeks, especially against a defense like the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing is on that note, the Patriots offense is probably, I'm going to say maybe the worst or bottom two, and you're starting a new quarterback. So it could be a situation where the Texans don't even have to pass. And I think as of late last night, Mixon was coming back, so they could rely more on the run.
He just got officially listed as active.
So, they could rely more on the run that game.
All right. I think I'm going to agree with Brian in that scenario. Pickens is my guy. I wish he was playing a little bit better, but just not his season this season, it looks like. All right. Next up, we have our tight ends with misspellings. Pat Fryermuth, Tyler Conklin, and Evan Ingram.
Well, Ingram, I don't know what
Ingram's
doing this morning, but he's already playing.
I'm going to focus on bettering myself.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what he's doing. Between the other two,
he's cooking.
Is he?
7 catches, 86 yards.
So I'll marry him. That's kind of one of those behind the altars. So it's like, all right, we already know what we got.
Typical, Brian. You wait till they're all doing good in life, and then you want to marry him.
Exactly. Always look for the good job.
You waited till he
family.
graduated from
look
med
for the
school,
important
and
things
then
in life.
Brian waited for the glow up, and then he jumped, and then he pounced.
Exactly. Big thing I was doing when I was getting married is I always look for somebody that was about 10 years younger than me. That way, if I got too old to work, I have somebody that can work for me.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That was my retirement plan.
Considering my wife is older than me, I did not do that right.
yeah, Lydia's a year older than me, but she's got the teacher pension, so I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I would flex Fryermuth in that situation and sit Conklin.
I think I agree with that. All right. Last but not least, or maybe they are least, is our quarterbacks of Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and CJ Stroud.
I'm going to marry Goff, flex Mayfield, and kill Stroud. It's going to be an ugly game in that New Orleans game, but in his career against the Saints, Baker Mayfield's averaging like 300 passing yards a game.
Now,
and the Saints defense is all hurt.
I'm going to go with the exact same, but I will put a little addendum to it that Mike Evans may have a tough game. You cannot predict these things, but Marshawn Lattimore has bounced all over the field with him for the last several years, and every time shut him down. He owns Mike Evans. Now Evans may get 300 yards receiving, but I'm not expecting that. So I'll agree with that scenario.
It's over under how quick he gets ejected for fighting.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's done that a time or two when he plays Lattimore.
I think I'm going to marry Baker this week, and the only reason is because whoever was playing Oklahoma yesterday planted their flag at midfield on Oklahoma's, and they drove their flag through Baker's jersey. So I think he's pissed off about that. I think he's going to come out all fired up today.
They were playing Texas in the Red
they
River.
got smoked.
34-3, I think, was the final.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm on the show this morning because for once in probably the last 10 years, maybe 20, but 10, because we had 3 good years under James Franklin, Vanderbilt has won back-to-back SEC games against Alabama and last night at Kentucky. So I'm actually the rooster this morning. So
there you go, man. I know. I was like, we need to get Brian. Last week I was like, Brian's got to be like giddy over them beating Bama.
Yeah, Joe. I don't think you were on the show yet when he said it, but Joe said you were down in the river with the field goal post.
Well, exactly.
that field goal post
that's exactly right.
I saw because it was the first time that this team has ever stormed the field. Their fine was like $100,000 something or something.
Yeah, they fined us $50,000. They fined who was the other big upset winner in the SEC?
LSU?
No, it was a team that's downtrodden like us. Arkansas. They beat Tennessee, and so their fine was $100,000 and ours was $50,000, I think, for being a first-time offender. But yeah, trust me,
it's better than Northwestern last year when they had to use cranes to hold the field goal post up because they didn't have them set yet.
Oh goodness, yeah. I couldn't believe it went up in the river, but that's okay. But yeah, for the last few years I haven't drank because of kidney disease. But trust me, if I did, that was the reason I didn't make the show last week.
We poured one out for you.
I appreciate it.
That's good. That's good stuff. Yeah. We were all very excited for you, Brian.
Well, thank you. We even made CBS Sportsline website this morning for winners and losers. Vanderbilt being a winner. So.
Who they playing next week? Maybe you can get 3 in a row.
Oh, we will. Well, we should. We better not lose. We play Ball State. They won their first conference game last week. And then we play currently number 1 Texas. So we'll see how that.
Yeah, then you got the gauntlet. You got Texas, Auburn, South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee the rest of the year.
I think we'll be
If they do
competitive
Tech,
and
you
could
never
win.
see Brian again.
Yeah, I watched
I
for
think we
Ball
can
State
beat
though. They looked really good yesterday. They put up like what was it? Yeah, they put up 37 on Kent State.
Yeah, that was Ball State.
Yeah, and they got messed over with the rain delay.
Yeah. I mean, no game is easy for Vanderbilt, but I think we can compete and maybe win against South Carolina and Auburn and Ball State. So if we get 3 more at least, that'd give us 7, which would be a really good season for us.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't even know how my alma mater is doing, but I'm assuming we're terrible. Just
Who's
because
this now?
my alma mater, I went to an NAIA school, so we're bad. We were bad last year. I don't think we won a game last year. So
I went to a school that was in 2 leagues. We were at the NCAA school and a USCAA school.
Oh, wow.
And USCAA former professional players can play. So we were like a top tier school for basketball, and it would be like we would be like number 5, and the number 4 through 1 would all be for-profit colleges that had kids who like got kicked out of Rutgers and kicked out of like Vandy for basketball, and they went and played overseas for 2 years, and now they're back and they're wanting a degree. So it'd be like 19-year-olds who actually were playing at their level and like 30-year-olds that
Wow.
like still had competitive energy in them, and they would win every game like 110 to like 50.
dang. I hadn't heard of that before. That's kind of interesting.
Dude, it was
is.
wild. You know how hard it is to keep up with 3 rankings?
I mean, but the difference between talents too is like so crazy. Like we had one year, I was actually covering my alma mater. And one year we had a kid who he transferred from D1 to our school to be closer to his family because he had somebody like sick in the family or something. So he transferred to be closer back home, but he was actually a D1 kid. And the amount of difference in talent was so great. Like he'd be like gliding down the field like 25 yards ahead of everybody else. It was
So,
just
did
crazy to watch
Did y'all get do y'all know about the kid that's in the Pistons like minor league system that's like he's like the first Orthodox Jewish basketball player to try to play pro in the NBA?
Mhm.
So we played him every year because there's an all Jewish college in our conference, Yeshiva. So this kid had offers from UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, turned all them down to play Division III in New York to play for a Jewish college. And he was a 6'10 center.
Oh, my God.
Our center was 6'3. He had 27 and 13 at halftime.
Wow.
He finished the season in conference play like 35 and 15 a game.
Wow.
And he only played the first half.
I mean,
Wasn't needed in the second. So
Yeah, I was gonna say he's on the freaking Pistons now. So
wow. That's amazing.
it's crazy stuff. Bears scored again. They are up 28-10.
Who scored?
Fourth quarter. For those keeping track at home, I did not see who scored the touchdown.
oh, Lydia's freaking out. She's got Odunze, Komet, and Keenan Allen, so she's having a great day.
Yes.
Did Odunze score the last one?
No, but he's got he had a big 28-yard catch. Allen and
Oh,
Komet both have 2 touchdowns.
One big question from this game is what's the future moving forward for Travis Etienne? He fumbled and apparently he's not seen the field. I know he came into the game nicked, but I don't know if it was nicked or his fumble kind of set him on the bench for the rest of the game. So.
I think the fact that Tanks Bigsby's been playing 5 times better than him doesn't help either.
Exactly.
I think Doug Peterson's going to follow Salah's approach, and he's not going to be on the team next year or by the time they get home.
Probably not. At least Salah was not over the ocean when he got fired, though, so that's a positive.
All righty, that will take us to the end of this segment. On the backside, we will let Brian do his thing with some DFS. Do you want to take one? Let's take one question before we.
Yeah, we got a good amount.
Yeah, let me try. Let's do Juan. So Juan Pena wants to know for my wide receiver 1, 2, and flex. I already got DJ Moore in there. Good job. So I guess it's just wide receiver 2, Wandale Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Tank Dell, Slayton, Tolbert, Trey Tucker. My God, man.
Yeah, last week he had us pick his whole lineup for him.
I would say so. Wide receiver 2 and a flex. So I would say probably. Well, Ridley's probably would have already played too. He's on Jacksonville, right?
No, he's in Tennessee.
Is he in Tennessee now? Yeah. See, you can tell how much I keep track of this.
This one's actually fairly easy for me. I'll go ahead and answer real quick. Josh Jacobs and then Tolbert.
I'm going to go Calvin Ridley and Josh Jacobs. If you remember last year when Ridley played against Indy when he was in Jacksonville, he had like 100-something yards. They play a lot of zone defense, and he really takes advantage, especially if Will Levis might not be playing. I think Mason Rudolph is going to find him.
I was going to say Ridley last season versus Ridley this season's kind of two different guys. So
yeah, but still,
that's my only concern with that. I mean, Lawrence still is not good, but he's better than Tennessee's options for sure. Mason might be able to get the ball to him. I think Levis no.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Ridley and Jacobs. I think that's your two easy picks there. All right. Thank you, Juan. All right. That'll take us to the break. On the backside, we will, like I said, let Mr. Bryan do his thing.
When you're working to achieve your financial goals, it helps to have some trusted guidance along the way. Jared Zook with Country Financial is here to help you identify your goals and provide more support to work through any changes life may bring. As both a financial advisor of Country Trust Bank and registered representative of Country Capital Management Company, Jared can help you plan for your financial future. As a Country Financial insurance agent, he's prepared to help you with insurance options to protect the people and the things that matter most. Jared is there to support you as you plan for the future and to help you worry less and live more. Jared is licensed to insure in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. Call Jared today at 217-698-0599 or find him on Facebook at Jared Zook Financial Representative and tell him For Frequency's Sake sent you.
All right, and then we have news coming down right now. Joe Flacco will be your starter in the Indianapolis game. Anthony Richard to serve as QB3. So that is what we are looking at right now. And then I see over here on ESPN that Dante Adams is inactive today. I did see a report this morning, not to steal time away from Brian, but I did see a report today that maybe they're not going to trade Davante Adams, that he might be staying in Vegas.
And in short, off that, it's basically because they're not getting the return they want. And I'd be curious to see if he plays again for the Raiders, but they might not trade him.
My thing with him was, if you watch that receiver documentary, he just sounded like a whiny little bitch the whole time. Like he's such a clubhouse cancer in my mind. Like from watching that, like it just was overshadowed by the fact that Aaron Rodgers is even more of a clubhouse cancer.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing. They want to trade him to they would like to trade him either to the Jets or the Saints to play with his former quarterbacks, because they've obviously over time played with him a little bit. And I guess if you want to build a rapport with Davante, they've done it to some degree. So,
well, I was going to say, I think the McCaffrey trade messed up the trade market because the Panthers got so little back for him that every team now is just like, oh, I'll just give you like one pick and see what you do with that.
Right. And then they're worried about what the Bears did to Carolina. Completely.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah. So
I'm still crying over that. We could have had CJ Stroud.
All right, Brian, the floor is yours. Enlighten us with your DFS wisdom.
Well, Jordan and I were able to do DFS deep dive on Friday. Had a good time. We got 3 or 4 games that on the main slate that have high point totals, and we tried to target both those games, and all those games, and that was kind of where we were at. There are a lot of low over unders this week as well, so kind of like have the 4 game rest is not as good. So my low cost stack of the week is actually is going to be Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney as my low stack guy. He actually wanted to go with his stack as Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman. He went to the higher price quarterback. I went to a little lower. And one player I'm kind of willing to throw kind of a little dice at. Like I said, I don't know really where the Texans need to pass maybe, but for $3,300 you can play Xavier Hutchinson. They've got both Robert Woods and Nico Collins out this week, so if they pass it all, you don't need many points to get back your return on $3,300. So I'm willing to throw a little dice at Xavier Hutchinson. And if nothing else, I get the opportunity to put some higher price players in my lineup. So that's kind of where I started.
Cool. All right. I know DJ always likes to ask about what you're stacking this week. What are you looking at? What's your your favorite stacks for this week?
Yeah, definitely. The first one, like I said, was definitely Cousins and Mooney, and then I like Zay Jones. It would be, you have to work a little bit harder to get Zay Jones and Lamar Jackson in your lineup because Jackson's higher price, but that's kind of where I'm starting. And then the other option I wouldn't mind is Dak and Tolbert. I know that y'all didn't choose the Tolbert option last question, but I really do like, somebody's going to do well. Lots of people are probably going to do well. I'm like Rast earlier in that Lions Cowboys game, and Tolbert can be had for $5,000, so he's on the cheaper end.
Now I'm gonna go the opposite direction. Who's someone? What's a stack that most people might look at as a good option that you're just staying completely away from? You advise don't even look at these two.
Oh goodness, that's always hard for me to think of off the top of my head. Let's see. I don't know that I've really got a really awful stack this week. Another little stack you could throw out there on a positive note would be Jordan Love, and you got a couple of receiving options at Green Bay you could certainly go with.
Is there any game you're kind of staying away from? Because I know there's a couple games. There's a lot of high win, a lot of low totals this week. I know for me betting wise, it was a weird week. There's just not a lot I kind of liked. Is there anything like that you just look at it, you're just like, I don't even want to, it's too gross to look at?
As I guess, honestly speaking, as a Steelers fan, outside of the Steelers defense, Jaylen Warren may be coming back. I mean, Najee's been awful to begin with. Jaylen Warren's coming back, so that may muddy the backfield a little bit. Pickens hasn't played well. Freiermuth's okay. But I don't really love the Steelers side as much. And with the Raiders going with Aiden O'Connell, I'm not sure what theirs looking like. Devontae Adams is out, like we were talking about. Jacoby Myers seems to be out as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to pick one game, but then I would encourage the listeners to look at all the over/under point totals that are under 40. And to me, in general, I don't like to look at those games. You might, in those games, sometimes you can find just a cheap price player, but there's not a lot of there's a lot of injuries. We were going over the injuries Friday night, and there were 24 players that were either doubtful, out, or questionable. And there's a ton of players out, but the problem is their replacements, like even Trey Sermon, like we were talking about him a few minutes ago, he's already fairly priced, or probably overpriced, to be honest, based on what I expect him to do. So there's not a lot of great injury replacements for cheap prices this week. So that's kind of why I threw out Hutchinson as somebody to save salary for.
It's actually funny you say that, because I actually targeted when you're talking about the Steelers, because I actually targeted that as my favorite game this week.
Oh wow!
That's my favorite bet on game this week.
What did you bet? The over under?
I got the spread.
Yeah. Please tell me you took the Steelers side.
Yeah, I did. I'll go over it on my. I have a really good look at it. It's one of the ones I got it when I always look at the slate on Monday night to see where they're betting every team at, and it seemed way too low for as dysfunctional as the Raiders were, and it got to the number I needed it at, and I hammered it.
Well, good. Yeah. Even Zamir White, I think, may be out too. Not that he's done anything, but I mean, the Raiders really are just without a lot of their flex position players this week. So, and the Steelers' defense has been amongst the best, if not, I mean, point wise, about the best on the season. So, another thing that DJ likes to throw out there is like cheap defenses to potentially play. Jordan and I were both looking at Tampa Bay, and even though Cleveland's playing Philadelphia, and on paper that doesn't sound like a great matchup, Philadelphia gives up the 24th most fantasy points to opposing offenses, so that they're prone to a couple of mistakes. But after he pointed it out, I'd rather go Tampa Bay.
Brian, what's your kind of your philosophy on when we get into bye weeks here? How do you kind of pick and choose which guys to kind of really invest your money on versus, maybe rolling your dice on a backup or something?
Well, the first way, I'm always looking for potential backups that have like lower prices to start my lineup. So when I'm building a lineup, I usually do my defense, my flex, and my tight end positions first. So I'm trying to find some possible low cost opportunities there. And like I was saying, this week there are a lot of injuries and even bye weeks. So you've got opportunity for lower price players, but this week wasn't the best, especially on the injury side. They just didn't offer a lot of value because the value is set like Sunday or Monday morning, and a lot of the players that are actually playing this weekend as replacements we already knew about going into the first part of the week. So not a great week for value, but at the same time, that's what you're kind of looking for.
Excellent. All right. Okay, that take us to the end of this segment. So I don't know if Joe is joining us. He's live looking on Joe right now. He's having a good time. The Bears were up 35-10, and they're
really I get more than 2 minutes to talk today. This is gonna be great.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Winkle is off having a very good time watching the game in London. Let's take a call. Let's take a question before we jump into the commercial break. Let's take this one. Weird Creeper wants to know Najee, Rico, or Bucky Irving in a full PPR scenario.
I'm gonna go Najee this week. I mean, obviously PPR, you want to look at like Rico just from the way this team passed, but even with Warren Beck, I don't think they're going to like put him in full force coming off that injury. And if I don't think Crosby's playing again this week, I might be wrong about that. But if he's not, then I mean they struggled stopping the Broncos last week, and even though it's the Broncos and y'all know for the last 2 years I have spent every episode talking about how much I hate the Steelers and Najee Harris. I think he has a decent game today. I think this new offensive look with Arthur Smith is somewhat better than what Matt Canada was doing.
I thought you hated Arthur Smith.
I do hate Arthur Smith with a passion, and I threw up in my mouth saying that. That's why I stopped mid-sentence.
Yeah, I think the three of us could do better than Canada.
I saw they showed Najee and Freiermuth at the Penguins game when they got beat 6-0, and someone said, "Wow, they brought the offense all the way to the ice too."
Hey, that's cold, but I'm pumped.
I think here, I don't mind the Najee pick at all, but I think here I'm going to actually go with Bucky Irving, and only because White is doubtful, and I think it was a 12:00 game, so we'll know. Do we know whether White's out?
Even if he's not, Bucky Irving's pretty much taken over that backfield. Last I saw, Bucky Irving's run line, his rushing yards line was at 65.5. So either they know for sure Rashad's not in, or they've given up on Rashad White.
Yeah, I think he's not in. So I'm going to go with Bucky Irving. It's a tough, not an easy matchup against the Saints, but I'm going to go with Bucky Irving because of volume. more volume than normal.
All right, that feels fair. All right, with that, then we will go to commercial, and we then on the backside will let Danny have the floor.
Yes.
Until Joe comes swooping in.
Joe's gonna come in and be like, schemes.
Exactly. All right, where's Ryan? There he is.
My name's Ryan Allison. I've spent over a decade immersed in the art of tattooing. Sharply honing my skills has materialized into a diverse and prestigious body of work. Each tattoo reflects my relentless pursuit of excellence, and every client I work with is a living embodiment of that unwavering commitment. I will gladly and wholeheartedly embrace your distinct vision.
I love that
Oh,
commercial.
man.
That commercial used to be like 3 minutes long.
It
Trim
is.
that down.
I'm literally saving up so I could fly out there, not to see you guys, but just to get my tattoo from Ryan.
There you go.
I already talked to him about it. So, guys, we have been cooking last couple of weeks. We had our third consecutive winning week in college football. We dominated last week. We were 7-1 in our NFL bets last week on Sunday. We have 5 more bets for you guys today. Our first play of the day we posted on Twitter already cashed with DeAndre Swift anytime touchdown score that we got at plus 163 with a boost. That just cashed. That's why you saw me praying a couple minutes ago. I was thanking our Lord and Savior, Matt Eberflus. But we have a couple plays today. Before we get into these, guys, all of our plays are with my new partner, moneylinego.com. It's the best place. It's the best market to get bets from some of the top bettors across the world. We're starting up. We've had over 150 experts join and post their bets there every single day. So you guys can get all of my free bets there as well on my Twitter, Gotham Gambling. But enough with my self-promotion. Here's our best bets today. For the 1 o'clock slate, I only had 2 games I really looked at. I had Jaden Daniels over 223.5 passing yards. I really like the spot today for him, even though it's going to be a tough game. The wind's blowing really, really hard. He's hit this line in every game except for game 1 this year, and Baltimore's pass defense has been very weird. And I think this is going to be a big shootout game, so I'm rocking with that. Next game that we're targeting is I'm going to take a rushing yard parlay with Tony Pollard and Kamara, each to get 50-plus rushing yards. You can get that about minus 110 right now on FanDuel. Kamara should be able to get 50. This is a tough run defense now that they're at full health. And Pollard is mainly – I couldn't decide between Pollard and Spears. I went with Pollard mainly because Indiana has no defense. This is one of the most ugly-looking defenses I've seen. And I don't trust the arms of Mason Rudolph or Will Levis. So I'll trust the run game here. I'll trust Pollard to get at least 50. He's hit this in 3 consecutive games. And my 2 plays, Brian, hold on to your hat. I'm trusting the Steelers for the first time in my life. Jesus Christ. I hate that I had to bet this. But the numbers were too good. I got Pittsburgh at -3 at minus 107 earlier this week. I think the line is actually still at -3. Yeah, it has not moved, even with a lot of action going towards the Raiders. The main reason I like this line, as I said, Crosby is still hurt. I don't think this Raiders team is really matched up. I think they're about to start blowing it up, especially with Aiden O'Connell coming in at quarterback. You have Aiden O'Connell coming in against a Pittsburgh defense. That's kind of scary. Mike Tomlin should be able to cook up enough of a game plan to scare the living daylights out of him. I'm going to trust Pittsburgh for the first time in my life. And if not, you're going to hear me go on a rant like when Joe heard the FSU news last year. And then our final play today is we're also taking the under in that game. Like I said, I trust them to win by at least 3. I didn't say I trusted their offense. I don't trust either team's offense here. I don't really trust either team's defense. But if I learned one thing from watching Chicago last year is that Justin Fields is an expert at not scoring when you think he should be scoring. So, and I just don't trust anything with that offense in Las Vegas that does not involve Devontae Adams. So I'm gonna take the under there, 36.5. I would be surprised if neither team scores 2 touchdowns today.
I like how Joe's rant is now like our scale.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the things that I do are up to scale.
Welcome aboard, sir.
See,
Like
I said
objects-
schemes. I said schemes 3 times, and Joe joined in like Beetlejuice.
Exactly, yeah. Play design. You just say play design, play design, play design, and I show up like a
Like
yeah,
Jordan
show up-
saying parlay.
exactly. You say
I
that.
miss
and
Jordan. No one degenerately tails my bets anymore. I'm tired of seeing DJ tail it for 10 cents.
just out here. Yeah. Hey, he's a dad, bro.
I'll
He's
see-
got
dude,
responsibilities.
Jordan will put like $100 and then it just says DJ 10 cents.
Sorry I'm late, boys. I was too busy lathering myself in baby oil. I got, since P. Diddy's, got spending some times in, Auschwitz or whatever the fuck. He's gonna be busy for a while. I decided to get all of his baby oil shipments rerouted to my house in Moline, and they are being used today. That is for sure, because the Bears have a goddamn top 15 quarterback, maybe top 10. But hey,
Gabe Davis.
we were all calling him a bust after. We were all calling him a bust after 8 quarters. What'd you say, Danny?
Gabe Davis is on my bench with 2 touchdowns.
Oh wow.
That he is. He also has like 8 drops, which is cool. The Jags are a disaster. So yeah, I've been having fun. Brian, it's great to see you, because I'm sad that I didn't get to see you after we put the anchor down last week at home against Bama. So they decided, since they knew you were going to be here today, I made sure I was here today to say they just put the anchor down again yesterday. Let's go Doors, baby.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I don't know. We're just living in a daydream right now, but it's pretty awesome.
Hey man, Vandy football, UT football, Chicago Bears football. It's all coming to bases. Huh?
Wait, did UT win Friday?
No, they lost, but they're on the doorstep of the playoffs.
Okay.
Gotta handle business, but
That's all right.
yeah, gotta handle business.
Hey, you can get in as long as you lose to Moline. That's all I care about.
Yeah, it was a good game. It's a couple mistakes. All right, so I guess I'm here to tell you guys what picks I'm gonna put out today. I gotta get on FanDuel because
it was so great. I had more than 30 seconds today. It was beautiful.
Shut your mouth, SA.
I had to slow myself down.
I heard you talking that gas.
While he's checking his stuff, Rashad White is officially out now, so Bucky Irving's is still the answer.
Okay.
Big fan of that.
Bucky Irving. I'm gonna get that on a shirt. Bucky Irving is the answer.
So my first play of the day is Doug Peterson minus 105 to be the first coach ever to get fired in London while still having to play a game in London the next week. That's my first play. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's actually be serious here. So Sinister Six, we went 4-2 2 weeks ago. We went 3-3 last week. That 2-for-1 special in that Rams-Packers game, both decided to just deny me glory. And then the Steelers decided to, choke it away. So I know Danny's trusting them this week. Sorry, Brian, not trusting the Steelers ever again. Last time I openly say I'm gonna openly put money on a team quarterbacked by Justin Fields and wide receivered by George Pickens. Shout out to all of those routes that he didn't run. Let's get legit here. Maybe the game of the day. Hopefully what could be the game of the day is where we're starting. Washington Commanders at Baltimore Ravens. We're taking the points. 6.5 in Baltimore. Just too many points. I don't know. Listen, are the Commanders legit? Well, it depends on what your definition of legit is. I think they're a really good team. I think they're a really good offense. Their defense is so-so. I think they could get lit up today. Offensively, though, they're humming. I think it's going to be a while still before you see that kind of fall off from Jaden, if there is going to be any. There just might not be. He's been really, really good. Cliff Kingsbury's in his bag, and the Ravens' pass defense is horrific. So we're going to take the Commanders plus the points. That back door is wide open. Way too many points there. Next, we are going to take the Green Bay Packers at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Listen, if you're a Educated Ignorance podcast watcher, I got this at 4.5. It's at 5.5. That's kind of just the same. Anything between 4 and 5.5, you're basically betting the same number. Really, it's what we like to call the Vegas zone. I got it at 4.5. I'd still lay it at 5.5. So when the Packers win here 28-23, we're all going to drink acid together. But I'm just saying this. If you are a valid watcher of the Educated Ignorance podcast, you will know that I am a proprietor of Arizona Cardinals football. They are fun. They are the mayors of Funtown, as I have deemed them. But this is a test against Arizona. Sometimes you just gotta make picks. And Danny would attest to this, where you're just kind of testing the other team. It's a temperature check. This is a temperature check to see if the Arizona Cardinals, coming off of a big win, if they are adult enough to handle going across country to Green Bay and for a noon kick and being able to hang. They very well could. So maybe, this pick will look dumb. Packers defense has been so-so, but I think the Packers are still pretty good. I definitely have them power rated over Arizona still, and that's why we're going to lay it with Green Bay. Just, is Arizona adult enough? Are they mature enough to handle this game? I don't know if they're there yet, so we're going to take the Packers. Next play, we got ourselves a total, Houston and New England. Listen, I love Drake May to death. Maybe New England may be slightly frisky today. Don't know. But I do think that it's a rough spot for him to be getting his first start. I think that game will go under 38.5 points. Next, we have one more total. We are over 46.5 in Panthers Falcons. That Panthers defense is capital A atrocious. I think Atlanta is going to have a lot of success moving the football. I think Carolina even can have a couple punchy moments on offense. Their offense has been pretty good since Andy Dalton got in there. It was bad last week, but also the Bears are a top 5 defense in the league. So Bob's your uncle on that one. But I'm going over 46.5. And then last two, Denver +3 at home against the Chargers. I love Harbaugh. I think the Chargers eventually will be good, but they're incredibly injured. Better team, ? Maybe. Coaching matchup, I love Harbaugh, but Sean Payton's done a great job. So at worst, it's a wash maybe. And you're getting 3 at home with a team who's incredibly banged up, and the Broncos defense hasn't been the most impressive defense so far this season. It's been pretty good because I did not expect this. Broncos +3 at home against the Chargers. We love taking home dogs in a spot like that. And then lastly, hold your nose and do it, folks. We're laying it with Cincinnati on the road against the Giants tonight. -3.5. Burrow has been so good. They are 1-4. They should not be 1-4. But because the Bengals are dumb and football is stupid, the Bengals are 1-4. But have faith. We hold our nose. We dive into it together. We lay it against New York. Danny Dimes, yes, he's playing well. Malik Neighbors is back. I expect him and hope he lights it up because I have him on a fantasy team. This game could very well also go over. Bengals are going to have to win up front against the pass rush for the Giants. If they do that, I expect Burrow to have himself a day. And I think the Bengals, who are desperate for a win, get a win. They are the better team, even though they're laying more than a field goal. Again, this is a hold your nose and just kind of have to trust it situation with the better team and the better quarterback, and that's what we're doing. So that is the Sinister Six. We're taking the points with the Commanders and the Broncos. We're laying it with the Bengals and the Packers, and we are taking the under in Pats Texans and the over in Falcons Panthers. Gentlemen, thoughts?
Who gave you that Bengals play? I'm curious, but
Yeah, shout out to the guy that I texted on Thursday. I sent him my first 5 picks, and I was like, dude, I have 5. I cannot find a 6th. I just can't. The first 5 picks today, I felt so good about. And then all of a sudden, the 6th one, I'm like, what do I do? And then Danny's just like, I found a shitty book that has Bengals -3. I'm like, let's go. Let's rock. Taking it.
I texted a bookie I know, and I said, "Can you give me -3?" And he said, "Hell yeah."
I do want to ask this question. So you mentioned Malik Neighbors. Is he for sure playing? Because the stuff I
guess he's
saw
out.
on Friday, not playing.
Yeah, it said he's still dealing with concussion.
He's out.
Okay, noted. Unfortunate, but noted. But that makes me like that play even better, folks. So let's go. Also,
let me see.
Yeah, I
Keenan
just didn't want
Allen,
our
have a day.
listeners. I didn't want our listeners to put in Malik Neighbors and then say, "What the hell was this?" I just put him in my lineup, and he's not playing. So,
And the spread just kicked up to 4.
It's still 3.5 on FD, but I know
Yeah,
Danny's
but
got like
FD's, but FanDuel is behind on football.
Yeah, but they were also the
I
only.
got Jaden Daniels 6 yards under what every other book has for passing yards.
Yeah,
I
but
do
they
have a question.
got whatchamacallit. FanDuel was the only major sports book that was up and running the other day. So hey, good on them.
I
All
do
right,
have
we're going to take one question, then we're going to jump to commercial, and we'll take all the other questions on the backside. Okay? Okay. All right. So, Mr. Chill wanted to know, actually, 2 questions. So, start Eckler or James Cook?
So is James Cook?
Good for me.
Is he like game time decision?
Who's this?
James Cook.
No, he's playing as far as I know. And Brian Robinson Jr. is out, giving more volume to Eckler, but I've still got to go Cook. So
Here we go. So Cook was limited on Saturday practice. He's questionable for Monday night with a toe injury.
yeah, but they said yesterday on the same thing, Roto World, that he's expected to play even though he's questionable. I would say if you have any hesitation, maybe pick up if Ray Davis is available as an option to play in that game, and or what's the other running back for the Bills? Do y'all know it?
Off the top of my head, no. But if you do,
I'm sorry.
yeah, if you just have hesitation, maybe it'd be better to play Eckler. But I don't know how the Ravens are pretty good running or against the run, so that's tough. So that's my
So the other Bills running back, Ty Johnson, that I was forgetting. So you can either pick up Ray Davis and or Ty Johnson, just in case. But I don't think the ceiling's very high for Eckler.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Also, we also have one more question. Start Devontae. Where did that go? There we go. Start Devontae Smith, J-Mo against Dallas, or Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, J-Mo against Dallas, or Calvin Ridley. You know, comment there.
Give me Ridley and J-Mo. I talked about them earlier.
Yeah, it's probably what I would go with too. I don't know if I. Oh, did he just short that? Wow. Yeah, I think J-Mo could have a big day. I think the Lions could light Dallas on fire today. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
for.
on that one, I'm going to sit Ridley, but.
All right, and then Chill said that he picked up Ty Johnson. So thank you very much, Brian. All right, that will take us to the commercial break. Backside, we'll have all the questions and the usual rounds of nonsense that we will get to. Brian, there we go. I know how to run StreamYard. Boom.
You from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football. Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
You from the West. We got you covered.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
All righty, we are back. We are going to take your questions. There is no end time. End time be damned. We are going to go till we get them all answered today.
Who is this guy running the show?
I got nothing better to do going on until 2 o'clock till the WNBA game tips off.
Look at you, Doug.
I knew it. I was gonna say we could have ran watching the W the first 30 minutes at least.
Why did they not run games 1 and 2 Wednesday, Friday, and then like run it back? Like if they're gonna have a bunch of days off, run game 3 like Tuesday.
You know how chaotic New York is about to be this week.
Whoever makes the schedule is a complete moron because they'll have like 3 games on like a Friday night and they'll do them all at the same time instead of spreading them out. Whoever makes their schedule doesn't know what they're doing.
Bro, we've talked about that like at least every episode of watching the W is how bad it is. But do y'all realize how chaotic New York is about to be this week?
Yeah.
Giants prime time, Mets Yankees playoffs, WNBA finals, and then Jets Monday Night Football.
When do the baseball playoffs?
Mets play tonight.
Tonight, right? Mets are tonight.
Mets start tonight at 8, and they're gonna lose. I hate both teams. I can't. This is bullshit.
When do the Yankees start? Tomorrow?
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I'm only rooting for Cleveland at this point.
Let's go Mets.
I haven't watched a pitch of baseball in I don't even know how many years. So,
if I have to hear all my Mets fans.
All right. First up, a couple of them from Stephen Grease. Looking for thoughts on my flex spots this week. Need 2 full PPR: Mickens, Chase Brown, and Najee Harris.
I'm sitting Pickens.
Go Pickens and Chase Brown.
Need 2. Oh God.
We need to start tracking like our picks and see if it worked or not.
Talk about a hodgepodge of ass. I guess Pickens and Brown. Najee Harris sucks. George Pickens is a clown. But yeah,
just because you said that Pickens is going for 100.
Maybe he could. He's talented, but man. Words can't describe how much I hate that guy.
He also has Josh Downs, Hank Bigsby, Trey Tucker, Ladd McConkey, and Rocco Dowdle. If that changes anything.
If you really want to like hold your nose and snuff it, play Ladd instead of Pickens because he's gonna be probably matched up in the slot and he's good against man coverage. And I think if they actually have success today, they'll be throwing to him. Oh no, wait, Josh Downs. Yeah, play Josh Downs. If it's between,
he was questionable last I saw.
If he's playing today, I saw he got. I'm pretty sure. And Flacco's playing. So yeah, play Downs. If it's between Downs and Pickens, play Downs. And I say that Pickens is going to go. I mean, they're down 19 with 3 minutes left. There's no reason to run him out there.
Don't play Biggs, but he's playing right now. And last time I checked, 7 carries for 24 yards. So.
Yeah, they have not touched the ball with him in the second half. It's been the Gabe Davis show.
30.
Woof woof.
Woof woof. Needs full PPR, needs 2 flex. Aaron Pierce at Tennessee, Wicks versus Arizona, Bateman versus Washington. And he's got some rationale there as well.
I'm going to sit Pierce.
2 flex, Wicks, Arizona, Bateman versus Washington. I would go Pierce and Wicks, just because like Bateman is so untrustworthy, even though the defense is bad. But yeah, though Pierce is kind of like a big play merchant for fantasy. Like it's either if you're not getting a massive touchdown pass reception from him, are you getting points? But
my thing with Pierce is Pittman is now playing, so is Downs. So Pierce is going to take a back seat to both of them.
Oh, Pittman is healthy. Okay.
Bateman is a dart throw, but at the same time, that game should be high scoring, so I'll play Bateman.
There we go.
Fair enough. Kyle Singer wants pick one full PPR. Keon Coleman, Kay Kashir, or Dobbs.
Well, Shakir is out. Far as I know.
Yeah, he's out.
I'm going. God, this is hard. I'm going to go Coleman just because Shakir is out. But
I'm going to go Dobbs. I think with getting suspended for the one game, I think he could be coming back and have a huge game.
He could, but I'm wondering, like, he'll be active, but like, how much are they going to actually run him out there? That's what I'm wondering. Like, it's a good matchup for him, you know, and he, when he's out there, Love does like to target him a lot, but Coleman's almost safer just because Dobbs could be active, and they, like, as a punishment, he sees limited reps. But
yeah, but Coleman's going to have sauce on him.
That is also fair. Yeah.
I have one question of my own real quick. So starting between Daniel Jones and Josh Allen in fantasy for the week, who would y'all start?
Probably Josh, right?
Yeah, I'm playing the guy that's actually starting Daniel Jones, and there's not a world I can fathom in where Daniel Jones is greater than Josh Allen, but that's just me.
It might be a better matchup, but like, it's like
either that or that guy knows something.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the worst teams in the league. Knock on wood, he'll probably beat me, but I'm 4-1, so it might be my week to lose. But I don't know. In no world can I see that scenario.
Yeah, it's tough. For me, I'm probably taking Coleman. Even with sauce on it, he's been very hit or miss though for me because I've had Coleman and I started him in a couple of leagues, just because of my roster construction. So he's had a couple of big weeks. He's got a couple of crappy ones. This might be a crappy week, but if he goes, he goes. So that'd be kind of the way that I'm leaning there. I think if that's me.
The shakiness is the Jets defense is good, but
yeah. All right. Next up, Ayla wants to know Josh Allen or Dak Prescott.
I'm going to go with Dak on this one. I would typically go with Allen.
I'll go Dak.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dak.
Sweep it.
All right. So that means Josh Allen.
Yeah, exactly. Gray Maddox. Start 2, T. Higgins, Bucky Irving, or Austin Eckler.
T. Higgins and Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say Eckler's where he needs to be on this last.
This is the last. If you have Rachaad White on your fantasy team, drop him for Bucky Irving because there's a great chance that after today, the Bucs will realize Bucky Irving is 10 times the player Rachaad White is.
The addendum of that is if Bucky Irving's still available.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I hope in most leagues he is not.
Yeah, that's true because he's been inching. So
if he's available in your league, please send me a shout out on X, and I'll join your league for next year.
There we go. Oh yeah. Brian's out here taking advantage of the children.
Bucky Irving ranked as RB15 this week. I just happened to see that as that popped up as we talked about.
Which makes sense with all the work. He's good. He's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is TS, Mixon or Connor in PPR.
I'm going Mixon now that he's in.
Connor. I'll go Connor today.
Mixon.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll take Connor.
Yeah. Now TS doesn't know what to do.
Yep. Don't listen to me.
Listen, take one of the two guys there. Guaranteed.
We're the worst.
Guaranteed one of those two guys will play.
Sam Trigg, full PPR flex, Zach Moss, Flowers, or Terry McLaurin.
Flowers
not
and Scary
close.
Terry.
You're going with McLaurin?
Yeah.
I'm going Day Flowers for sure. To me, it's not that close.
I'll go McLaurin. They're starting to figure something out there.
I like Flowers in a vacuum there. All right. Pittman with Flacco or Dobbins?
I'm going to say
Pittman.
Dobbins. Pittman's still a little banged up. He was
True.
questionable throughout the week, and a surprise practice on Friday got him in today. But I'm just not sure he's going to be able to play his normal fair share of snaps. So I'm going to go with Dobbins because guess what? Edwards is out. So
I would go neither, honestly. Like Pittman's not been the best, and Dobbins is the only running back, but that's against one of the best run defenses.
Are you
Go try to pick up Josh? Go try to pick up Josh.
Go pick up Bucky Irving.
I was going to say, go pick Josh down. Go try to pick Josh Downs up.
Exactly.
All right. Next up, Pittman, Lazard, or Leggett?
Lazard.
I'm going to go Pittman in this case.
Man, that's a trio. Jesus, Pittman.
Yeah, I think I'm Pittman of that group. Next up, pick 3, Tracy Jr., Jerome Ford, Kyle Pitts, McConkey, McLeod, Zach Moss, or Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving
Bucky Irving's a must start. I would play Kyle Pitts today. Especially PPR. And then oh God.
I want to go Jerome Ford. That didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was gonna say I was trying to think him or Big Bad Lad, but it's tight.
Ooh. Jay Glazer just said Rattler expected to start the next 4 weeks, whether Carr's healthy or not.
Oh wow.
I mean, that's the smart play because
Carr's not. He's not getting that starting job back.
Who's starting?
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, okay.
I told you beginning of the season. Remember, I said take Derek Carr's under on passing yards because he's going to get benched or hurt, and Rattler's going to take over for the rest of the season.
How do you think Rattler will do in a bubble?
I think he's going to have a good game today, actually.
Really? I think today will be tough because Bowles is Bowles is a legend. That's going to be a tough ask against with a rookie quarterback. But Spencer Rattler might also actually get their best player the ball. And I'm not talking about Alvin Kamara. I'm talking about Chris Olave. If you have Chris Olave, guys, I don't know if you've said this, play Chris Olave today.
So
because Chris Olave is going to have a shit ton of targets. Go ahead.
You ready for the analytics side of this?
Let's go.
So of the last 13 quarterbacks in their first debut start, 12 of those 13 hit at least 170 plus yards. They said they're not changing any part of the game plan to accommodate him being in his first start. And he said multiple times this week, my priority is to get the ball to Olave at least twice the amount of times. And if he can't get it to Olave because their line is hurt, you have the best receiving back in the NFL on your team as well.
Do we still consider him to be the best receiving running back?
I think he gets over 120 receiving plus rushing yards a game.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I was just trying to, I was putting it out for debate.
Who do you have, Eckler?
I was thinking McCaffrey, but McCaffrey hasn't played all year and won't play all year.
That's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
Spencer Rattler, if you watched him in preseason, was super aggressive with his throws. He wasn't like not like saying he wasn't making the smart throw, but he wasn't doing the I'm going to throw it out of bounds because I don't see a target. He waited in the pocket and he was aggressive getting the ball in. I think he's going to have a good game today.
Yeah, and Kubiak will make his life easy calling plays. I'm excited to pay attention to it. That's for sure. I'm way more intrigued in that game now that he's playing than like if Carr was playing, because I think the Saints were like drawing dead after everyone blew their load after 2 weeks with them.
Dude, when it was 3rd and 4 and he launched the ball 40 yards down the field in the last game, and then was like, I can't believe I threw an interception. What?
Yeah.
So,
no, I it'll be fun to watch. That's for sure.
So would y'all play Evans or Olave in that same game?
If it was between one of them, that's tough because
I'm going Olave because the Saints defense usually like turns it up and locks in when they play Tampa. because
Yeah.
like even last year their defense was like average, and then they hit Tampa, and that's when they became elite.
They did get swept by Tampa, though. Tampa busted their ass in New Orleans last year.
Yeah, the quarterback's name was Jameis Winston for like at least half of it.
If it's PPR, probably Olave, because Evans has been more of a touchdown merchant than anything.
Yeah.
But if it's PPR, yeah, I think Olave is going to get a shit ton of targets today. So
I will say I hope we help our viewers, because honestly speaking, I've had Evans in all weekend, and then y'all made me think twice. So I think I may switch to Olave, because I myself said that Evans against the Saints does poorly. So
yeah, him and Lattimore like have forever beef.
yeah, exactly. And Evans always loses. So
yeah,
I don't know how much we help people every week. We entertain people every week. I don't know how much help
we definitely try.
Entertain's an operative word there.
Exactly.
Next up, we have Goff at Dallas, Fields at Vegas, or Daniel Jones versus Cincy.
Did you really ask that question? Between those three, give me Goff as like the obvious answer.
yeah,
I don't think since Daniel Jones is going to get away with another week of 10-minute long drives to like boost his stats with 8-yard plays.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Goff there.
Yeah,
Goff seems to
be the correct answer. Yeah, we answer that one. This one. All right.
This is a run back of the last one.
Okay, got that. So then, last but not least, Slayton, Tolbert, Sermon, bench one.
Bench Sermon.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Awesome. All right.
If there was ever a week a second Cowboys wide receiver was going to do well, it might be this week? Question mark.
One thing on that last question about Goff, I would encourage our viewers to look at the over-unders, and each week look at the over-unders and expected points for each team. And the Giants and the Steelers are both not very high, and Goff is on a team that's expected to be in a complete shootout. So just keep that in mind when answering your own questions. That's something we all look at.
To add on to that, not just the over-under, but the over-under mix in the spread. Because if a team's over-under and the spread's like 10 points, if it's supposed to be a high-scoring game and the spread's like 10, be careful with that, because that means they're going to smoke them and then put the bench unit in. If it's like this game where it's a spread of 4 and the over-under's in the 50s, then I'm 100% hammering that, because they're expecting that to be a very close game.
Yep, exactly. The worst thing about that high score, that bigger point differential, the team that's favored can always get ahead early and not play their starters for the second half.
That's how me and Jordan would hammer NBA. Is we'd find the highest total and we'd look at which ones of the highest total had a spread less than 2 buckets, because then you knew that at most 90% of the time all starters were going to be playing at least 35 minutes.
Yep, makes total sense.
Last one right at the buzzer. Zach Moss or Dell at the flex?
Zachary Moss.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's fine.
So. But yeah, go Moss. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right, boys. Then we have our standard questions. Who's your QB1 this week?
We might have just saw him, boys. Just throwing that out there. What did he end up with?
I'll go Lamar.
He ended at 226, 4 passing touchdowns and an interception with.
I was just thinking of points.
Yeah, he could have seen it. But I'll go Lamar in the high score.
28 and change.
Yeah, 28.5. Yeah.
Joseph Daniel Flacco.
I was gonna say.
Could.
Give me Burrow. Give me Burrow on after the way they lost last week. I feel like he's gonna come out with a vengeance.
I'll go Lamar today.
Howard.
I'll take some quarterback named Joseph, whether that is Flacco, whether that is Burrow, whether that is Winkle. One of those three.
Just gonna be back
Joseph
there
Daniel
icing them up.
Jones.
I'm gonna go do the Dak Prescott warm up in my living room after this. A little.
Joe's on Madden with his created player going for 500 yards, being like, "I told you,
500 boy, out here."
All right, who do we like for running back this week?
I'll go Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, give me Kamara.
I have a random ass pick, but I doubt it hits RB1. Tony.
No,
Pollard.
I'm gonna go. I was thinking that because they have a really bad defense, but he gives up a lot of touches to Spheres. I'm gonna go Joe Mixon. I'm gonna add another Joe in there.
It's Joe Day. Hey.
Joe Day or no day?
Goddamn right.
Brian, who you got?
Oh, I'm going with Alvin Kamara.
Alvin. All right. I think I'm taking Saquon against the Brownies.
Coward.
Smart.
I'm just gonna say that about everyone.
All right, and your wide receiver one.
Chase.
Yeah, it has to be.
Does kind of feel inevitable, doesn't it?
He's been so good.
I'll go Xavier Legette.
Bold.
No, I'll go Olave.
All right. Tight end one today. Who do you got?
Isaiah Likely.
McBride.
I'm gonna say it every week.
Would I fuck? First off, fuck you. Second off, we might have another instance of we might have already seen tight end one.
I want to point out last year Joe hated on me for my love of Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet is a stud. I will not accept Cole Kmet slander. He just did not have a quarterback. Yeah,
Did not.
I will say this.
I am the genius of tight ends.
What'd you say, Brian?
I do wish Cole Kmet would do a little bit more than just score touchdowns, but he loves to score touchdowns. I think he had 8 last year or something. So.
Listen, I was so pissed because I had Swift or DJ Moore to score the first touchdown of the game. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, it could happen. And I was like, okay, they're going to tackle him at the 2. And then I saw him slam dunk the ball in the end zone. I was like, God, that was cool, but it ruined my bet.
Bro, oh my God. That touchdown design, brother.
No. Today's tight end one is Charlie Kolar.
Yeah. Whoever the 4th tight end is on the Ravens.
It's Joe Staley.
Is there another Monday next week?
Yeah, there is. And then they go to Munich.
And the final war crime.
Do we know who next week is?
Giants Panthers.
Giants Panthers for next week?
No, that's in Germany in 2 weeks. Next week is Pats Jags.
Okay, so you weren't kidding that the Jags are playing again next weekend in London.
Yeah.
Well,
the Panthers game is the last punishment for World War II.
I really do think they ought to consider getting rid of Peterson.
Yeah, he probably doesn't make the trip back.
I don't think he should.
All right, we got a couple more questions that snuck in here. Ray Gamer wants to know: start 2 in standard 6 points per TD. Deontay Johnson versus the Falcons. Wandale versus the Bengals, or Pittman versus the Titans, or Tolbert versus the Lions.
I'm going Tolbert and Deontay.
I'll go Pittman and Tolbert. I don't think Andy Dalton's gonna get the end zone passing with that defense.
Yeah, I agree with Brian's.
Coward.
Wandale again. So
Wandale.
You're such a dad. Like you're such a dad. Like that's a dad thing to do.
I think. All right, Joe Egan. Start Joe Mixon today. How do we feel about Joe Mixon?
Yep.
It's Joe Day, bro. A Joe is asking a question about
Joe
a Joe.
Mixon
Absolutely.
anytime touchdown plus 130 right now.
Let's go.
It is literally
in a vacuum, I'll say start Joe Mixon. I don't know who the other options are. So
it went from 150 to 130 in the 5 minutes after he got listed as active.
And
so
he
he scored today.
What Brian means is actually go purchase a shop vac, print out a picture of Joe Mixon, and put Joe Mixon in the shop vac.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That might be your best way to say yes or no to that question. So
just out here making it work.
Daniel Jones or Kyler Murray?
Joe Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
There's been a lot of
everyone's buying in on Daniel Jones after one game.
Everyone's on Daniel Jones, yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is your last week to get Kyler Murray because Call of Duty comes out in a week and a half.
Yeah, but he got sponsored by them, bro. He's gonna hoop.
Bro, look at his stats pre-Call of Duty and after. It doesn't matter if he's sponsored by them.
You're the worst.
They had to put a clause in his contract that he couldn't play video games after a certain time.
Okay.
All right, and then last we've got Watson or Ertz in a full PPR.
Go Ertz.
Christian Hurts. Is it Christian Watson? Because isn't he hurt? Or is there another
He's
Watson?
He's playing, but I'm just trying to think of another tight end. There's not a tight end Watson, right?
Is there a tight end like 7 that he's looking at? Like the practice, it's a practice squad tight end.
Maybe.
No, go Ertz. If it's full PPR, the Ravens give up the third most receptions to tight ends. 6 receptions per game.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so that's for a flex position. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ertz. Watson is playing, but he came down to the last minute, not potentially not playing. So, got to be a little careful for these guys go to the last minute, last day, and then they say, "Yeah, we're going to play him," because they may get limited snaps. So,
all right, rapid fire. MHJ or Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
MHJ is gonna get. I think he might get locked up today.
All right,
I'm gonna go MHJ here.
And then for defense, Raiders, Falcons, Titans, Colts, Bengals. That's a whole. I feel like you're picking up somebody off the waiver wire at that point. If you're,
I told you it's Juan. We're just setting this lineup each week.
I'm going Falcons.
We're out here.
Give me Falcons.
Same. I'm not delaying. I need to go. So take us home, Doug.
All right, that'll do it for this week. Thank you, everyone who has tuned in this week. We appreciate you. Make sure that you are jumping back next week where we will have more fun and shenanigans. Make sure you check in with Joe tonight. I'll be along sometime this week for a Watching the W finals update. Brian will be back Friday to help you set your DFS lineups of DFS deep dives. Brian will give you the last word. What do you say?
Good luck in all your games. Make them all winning ones.
Also, Juan, play Wandale and Josh Jacobs. 31 heads. Play Calvin Ridley. We're out. We got to go. Bye.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.